so if you die, you can restart Doomsday whenever the hell you want, which is awesome. So once you've reached this point, you've pretty much reached all the levels you'll need to reach. But we have to beat this thing. Eggman's taking off in a ship, and the only way to damage him is with his own missiles. Basically, the missiles home in on you and follow you. So you want to make the missiles maneuver into his head, you know? You want to be in a position where the missiles should be following you, but it's also going to hit his head if it does, you know? So just fly around considering that, and watch out for the pellets he's shooting at you, because they send hypersonic flying all over the place. Which is, no good. But after a few hits, he should go down. You can always boost along real quickly across the stage by tapping the jump button. It gives you a nice dash of speed. And during that whole battleship part, no rings show up. That's why you have to gather rings as much as you can during the first part. As for the second part, keep hitting Eggman as he's flying away, keep dashing into him, and you've won this battle. It's really not that bad. Make sure you have rings, though. But folks, that is the final boss of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and I'll be seeing you in the ending in Part 13. Hello everybody, welcome to Part 2. Aloha everybody, welcome to Part 2 of Sonic Adventure. We are now taking on the Egg Hornet! What the hell was that? Anywho, yeah, we're taking on the Egg Hornet, which is the first boss fight with Eggman here, and it's pretty easy. This is one of the earlier bosses in the game, so go figure. Basically, he loves to shoot missiles at you. They kind of home in on you, but Sonic's so fast he can outrun them no problem. And then he tries to drill at you, and like you get stuck in the ground, and you just jump into him. Pretty self-explanatory. Unlike the Genesis games, you can't actually jump into the bottom of Eggman's Eggmobile. The bottom of the cockpit will actually damage Sonic. So I guess he's reinforced the black part with some kind of burning metallic alloy. I don't know how it works, but Sonic can't exactly jump into the bottom anymore. It might also be the boosters that kind of hurt Sonic. It doesn't matter. The point is, you have to wait till Eggman tries drilling for you, then you jump into him. And yeah, that's the first Eggman boss fight. Pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. I like how they show off how the Eggmobile just attaches all the parts to it, you know? It's just like the Genesis games. So yeah, the game's kind enough to give you 2 rings before the battle even begins. But yeah, this is Sonic in 3 dimensions. He is now moving in any direction you want. He has a new attack, which is going to be in every Sonic game for the series now onwards. The homing attack. And the homing attack is really useful against Chaos Zero here, since it homes in on his head and allows you to hit him a lot more effectively. You can just jump into his head, but the homing attack really works well here.
Hey, I'll play with you some other time.
Alrighty, folks, now we're taking on Chaos 4. Again, he's named after how many Chaos Emeralds he has. He has 4 emeralds in him, so obviously he's probably going to be a little bit of a tougher fight. Well, luckily for us, the level we're fighting in has some kind of thick-ass water. I don't know if it's because it's part of Chaos or what, but if you stand in the water too long, it actually starts to damage you. It's not like water in the traditional Sonic sense, where you'll drown after a while. It's like, if he gets head underwater, it actually damages him and knocks all the rings out of him. And basically we want to stay up as much as we can. Just keep jumping on all the lily pads, and every time Chaos 4 here sticks his head out, you just jump into him, or homing attack into him, or whatever. He has some pretty easy to predict attacks, though. Most of his attacks are just these kind of ground pound wave type effects that you can kind of see from a mile away. Another move, he splits into 4 balls of water and just starts bouncing towards you. Again, just moving around the area is pretty easy to dodge this guy. Not really a difficult boss fight, just kind of tedious. In case you missed it during the Knuckles fight, every time you hit Knuckles, he goes, "Oh no!" It's like kind of some kind of goddamn speed racer English, you know? We have to win the race, Speed Racer, ha! Every time you hit Knuckles, oh no! And you hit him again, oh no! I love this game. But But yeah, Chaos 4 really isn't too much of a hassle. He just takes forever to kill because you have to keep waiting for him to stick his head out, whereas the other bosses you can probably speed run if you wanted to. But yeah, not really much to say. Chaos 4 is pretty easy.
Hey, I'll play with you some other time.
Chaos 6 time. Chaos has, the Chaos 6 battle has one of my favorite boss themes in the whole game. He is invincible. Trying to jump into Chaos now will get you damaged. There is no weak spot for him. However, Dr. Eggman pulls one of the stupidest villain... he decides to assist Chaos this time in the fight by dropping ice bombs. The only problem is the ice bombs don't explode right away. You have to homing attack them, and then you can throw them at Chaos, which turns him frozen solid and allows you to hit him. Oh, Eggman, why didn't you just stay out of it? You could have beat Sonic this time! I also think I sped run this boss fight pretty quickly. He dropped all the bombs consecutively, so yeah. Easy boss fight, even though he has 6 Chaos Emeralds. Such a shame. Alrighty, it's time for the Egg Viper! Yeah, the Egg Viper. So this is the final boss, and he's got a very catchy quote. Get a load of this! The one thing you're going to find about Dr. Eggman boss fights in almost all of the 3D games, and I mean all of them, he tends to have a very awesome quote that he will repeat over and over and over again, and most people will repeat ad nauseum till the end of time. When he got out of the cockpit there, he said, "See if you can make it through here, Sonic." And then you're supposed to hit him in the face. I let the quote happen too long because I wanted to get a voice clip of it, but he managed to get away way too quickly. That death was totally my fault, but, you know, if I was playing this game normally, that never would have happened. So let's do this properly. Let's take out the Egg Viper. Much like King K. Rool in the Donkey Kong Country series, or most Donkey Kong Country bosses, period, the Egg Viper is not a one-note pony that does the same thing the entire boss fight. Every time you drain a couple bits of health off of the Egg Viper, Eggman resorts to doing a new tactic, you know. He first started off just popping out of the cockpit and letting you hit him. But this time around, now you have to homing attack the actual Viper part and get to Eggman, you know, through homing attacks. And constantly the whole thing just keeps updating and updating and updating with new moves, new attacks. And it always keeps new players on their toes, you know. You never know what Eggman's going to do next. The one thing I will say is that every time you hit him, he generally does the "get a load of this!" Then he starts shooting lasers at you. Outrunning him is easy to do, as long as you keep running. But, and then he usually shoots a gigantic laser at you after all that, and after the laser he pops out of his cockpit to taunt Sonic to see if he can hit him. Why is Eggman doing this? I don't know. Stupid villain cliches. If he kept in the cockpit, he'd probably be safe and sound. That laser is kind of easy to dodge. It does home in on you for the most part, so when the Egg Viper is getting close to you from that angle, generally just stay in one direction and then move to the other as soon as he's about to hit you, you know? Oh, Eggman and his repeatable quotes. Get a load of this! For this part, he shoots one of his spike things at you, and you just jump, and then you hit Eggman from there. Booyah. The Egg Viper is one of my favorite boss fights in the game, because it's always... I just love the music, I love his whole quote thing, and I love just everything about it, how it gradually changes its pattern, and it's one of my favorite boss fights in the game. It's also one of the few challenging boss fights in the game. I got nothing against Sonic Adventure, it's a fun game as hell, but you know, it is a pretty easy game, and a lot of the bosses are cakewalks that you don't really have to think too much about to defeat them. The Egg Viper is at least a little... It's at least a challenge, you know?
Watch out! He's up to something.
That he is. His final attack, he tries ramming the Egg Viper into you, and if he connects on the same platform that you're on, you will fall to your death, and you will have to restart the entire boss fight over again. It's a bit of a dick move, but hey, it's his last resort attack, so I don't blame the guy. Who else what, huh? Tails is actually voiced by Corey Bringus, and Corey Bringus at the time of Sonic Adventure was a kid. He was a child. In fact, when Sonic Adventure 2 rolls around, he is going to have a different voice actor because Corey Bringus got too old and his voice deepened, I guess. And so they got his brother. But a lot of people say Tails is probably the worst voice acted character in the game, and I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's like you want to tear your face off because his voice is so annoying, but he is a kid, keep that in mind. And I mean, there are good kid actors, right? Everyone, don't answer that. Anywho, Egg Hornet's pretty much the same boss fight. Obviously, Tails can only fly when he pushes the jump button in the air. He does not have a homing attack like Sonic does. So when you have to jump into enemies, you actually have to jump into them and not homing attack into them, you know? I don't know if that requires more skill, but it's not that much harder anyway, so whatever. Just jump into Eggman, boom, bing, bang, boom. Same boss fight. He also has a tail attack, which you can use to whip enemies, but I barely use it because it's never really useful. Alright, so Tails even gets to fight Chaos himself. Chaos 4 is actually kind of easy still with Tails, and it's weird. When you're Sonic, you have to hit Chaos 4 5 times in order to kill him. When you're Tails, you only have to hit him 4 times. I guess they thought it was going to be harder? I don't know. I mean, he doesn't have a homing attack like Sonic does, but, you know. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same basic boss fight. The one thing I don't like about Chaos 4's boss fight, I should say, is that, you know, it's weird. I don't like waiting for him to pop up. I don't like how the water is sticky like molasses, and really all you're doing is jumping from lily pad to lily pad, and this is probably my least favorite boss fight in the whole entire game. And it wouldn't be so bad if you only did it once, but, you know, every time you do a different playthrough, you gotta do it, like, not just with Sonic, but with Tails, and you could probably guess that when we're playing as Knuckles, we're probably gonna fight it with Knuckles, too. Just, you know, no boss needs to be fought by 3 different characters. And really, since Tails can fly, how is this hard? I mean, he's just doing all these water ground-pounding kind of attacks. And, okay, I got hit there. I'm sorry, but when you're not an idiot playing a video game, how is it hard to get hit at all? I mean, honestly. Also, this episode's going to be a little bit cutscene heavy, so I am going to speed up Sky Chase for you guys, so enjoy. What you didn't see off-screen is me fangasming after Eggman said, "Away, before I make mincemeat out of you." Dean Bristow was an epic, epic man just for providing Dr. Eggman's voice like that. My god. Anyway, we're now taking on the Egg Walker! Yeah, the Egg Walker. But we're now taking on the Egg Walker, and he has a very simple strategy. He's a lot easier than the Egg Viper boss fight. Basically, you use your tail whip to, or you can jump into it, I believe, but you have to deactivate his feet that stomp. The ones that stomp, you have to deactivate. They'll be shining afterwards. And when those feet are deactivated, the Eggmobile dips down so you can jump into it. Pretty easy, nothing really hard about it all that much. Camera angle could be better, but, you know. This is another one of those boss fights where Eggman spouts his memes, and this is where everyone gets the whole get a load of this meme from, because every time he stomps his foot, he repeats the quote while he's saying it. I once made a Sparta remix video out of the get a load of this, and I drew my inspiration from this part, from the repeated line usage of get a load of this. You should look it up in my videos, but yeah, that's it. Final boss of Tails playthrough wasn't really that bad.